Welcome back to the channel, friends. Today we're going to be doing something just a little bit different. I have with me Joel, the developer of the fantastic game Stash, a card looter. It's a deck builder, auto-battler, roguelite, and Season 2 just kicked off. Definitely check it out if you like. But I have with me Joel here. We're going to be doing a bit of a tier ranking of the animals in the kingdom, and we're going to be following it up with a bit of a Q&A at the very end. Nice to meet you, Joel. How you doing today?
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for having me on the channel. Super excited to do this. This is usually not my world either, but yeah, I love talking about the game and love seeing what people are thinking about it. So really excited to do this. Very tired at the moment. It's been crazy few last days now before the launch of Season 2. We put in like a new feature just like a few days before launch, and it's just been insane. But yeah, a lot of relief and excitement now to just get the ball rolling.
Absolutely, yes. So Season 2 just kicked off, like I mentioned. Very exciting stuff, as Joel mentions. And we have 31 creatures before us here, right? All of the creatures found in the Stash, a card looter game. And we're going to be ranking them from S to D. And we're going to be starting with the Badger and just going rightward. So, on the Badger, what does this guy do well? Well, he can stun every enemy, but takes a lot of mana to do so, and it requires a lot of spell power to proc off effectively. I think the Badger can be very useful in certain cases, and I would probably put him firmly in B. Joel, I'm curious your thoughts on that ranking.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. Like you said, he can be really strong actually. Like he found his way into some of the very strong endgame builds even in Season 1. But he's very niche. You really need to build around him. You need to give him some support left and right from other heroes. You need to give him some spell power. I really like him as the legendary pick, and then you can really buff him hard. But difficult to pull off, and yeah. If you're not building around him, then you're just never picking up. So decent, solid. On that note, in Season 2, we have new relic that will poison on stun, which really makes him an interesting pick as well. So
that's some compelling stuff right there. Yeah, Season 2, absolutely. Super excited for it. Next up, we have the Bats. So this individual here, I mean, he copies the spell of an adjacent ally. I guess it can be good if the adjacent ally has a really good spell, but you know, I think you could also argue, why wouldn't you just have another ally that has its own good spell, right? So I think the Bats, I want to like him. I want to use him more. I don't really find myself using him too often. I'd probably put him firmly in maybe like a D+. I'd probably go D+. What are your thoughts, Joel?
Yeah, that seems fair. He has found his way in some of the very late endgame builds, like especially combined with owls, because you can really just, in that case, it can be a better owl than your best owls. But it's also very niche and difficult to pull off, and I myself almost never pick him up either. So yeah, unfortunately he's in D tier. We did buff him, like his spell is going to only cast 4 energy going into Season 2, so that's going to make him more usable on different heroes. So we'll see how that goes.
Fantastic. Yeah, maybe the buff will get him upgraded to tier C. We'll definitely find out. Next up, we have the Bear. So this is a very strong option, high HP on this individual here. And it's going to boost elemental damage for adjacent ally. I mean, he's just good. He is good. For the Bear, I can't put him anywhere less than A tier. I think you could even argue S tier, but let's go A tier for now with the Bear. And what are your thoughts?
He does often kind of drop off like very late game. Like he's just very solid all around. Like he's very good early game. He gives some good buffs early. He has high HP again. Season 1 was a lot about just value stacking, high HP, high damage. We worked a lot to make the game more synergistic. It's shorter, but spells scale faster. So it's more about really comboing off each other. And yeah, but he always finds a way. I sometimes even had very low HP bears that dropped unique with very high damage buffs, and then put them in the back line and just make the front unit hit super hard. So there's a lot of use case for him. So A seems good.
Fantastic. Yeah, and you can get certain items that boost fire, ice, or shock damage as well. Makes them absolutely lethal. Next up, we have the Bull. This guy's going to defend from elemental damage. I think if you're, if the end game is got a bunch of owls and bears and things of the like, the Bull certainly has a place. But overall, I would rather go with DPS output versus that. And there are other ways to kind of offset the frost, shock, and fire damage as well. So I would put the Bull firmly in probably C category. Curious to hear your thoughts, Joel.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think I would put him even in D tier. Like he's just like it seems good on paper, and it probably is good. It just doesn't really feel good. Like it's just like you just almost never get him off, and yeah, even as a legendary, it's like feels like a very disappointing option.
Yeah.
He's the one we actually almost buffed the most going into season 2. That he's going to be more of a tank. Like he's going to have a lot more HP, and he's going to be used more in the front line. So
Okay.
let's see how that turns out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he got super buffed, but yeah, I agree. I mean, D tier feels fitting. You are pretty like you're just like, oh man, if you get this guy as a legendary option for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we do have the Armadillo. So this guy's going to share his energy and defend his partner. You know, it's got that nice firm outer shell. I mean, sharing energy is pretty important in this game, or at least it can be, because a lot of the most powerful skills in the game, you know, require 5 energy, like the Badger, like the Owl, and things of the like. I think if you have a strong unit, namely with the shield, sharing, you can really put together a powerful build. I'd probably go like B tier with Armadillo, maybe even A tier as a frontliner, but I'll keep him in B for now. Curious your thoughts, Joel.
Yeah, this is the first time I'm going to kind of disagree. I think he's one of the, maybe he would be my top 1 unit in the game. Like he might be the best unit in the game in my opinion. Maybe like he's definitely in the top 3. I think like he's just like that was kind of like when looking back now, the one thing we really like undervalued in development is probably the keyword linked, where you can share energy, and he's still a super high health minion. He's in the top category of HP as well, and that just made him like the ultimate tank. Like you basically just like you get the same spell as you would have with your backline with some bonus and max HP. Like it's just like he's just like, and he was in almost all the top end builds. So
okay,
I
okay.
would put S tier. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing the stats, like, you know, what the top end builds, the most successful builds look like. And if you're telling me the Armadillo was featured in a lot of those, I mean, I think we gotta level him up, man. Let's move him all the way up to S, especially if the guy who made the game considers him top 3. And take note of this, folks. The Armadillo, really, really good. Probably use him more in your builds going forward. Next up, we have the Rabbit. So this is one of my favorite ones because it will increase the spell power of allies in the shared row. And think about this with like the Badger, think about this with the Owl and other units as well. And I think it's really functional. You don't need multiple of them. You can just have 1 in each row if you really want to, you know, maximize basically 2 strong ones in your overall team. And as long as you can keep them alive, I think they can add a lot of value. I would probably put the Rabbit or the Bunny in A tier, just because I like magic builds. I've really been playing around with magic builds. So the Bunny, for me, is A tier. Be curious your thoughts, Joel.
Yeah, I mean, it's your tier list. I would probably put him into B or C. Like, he did get significantly buffed. He's going to be doing the same thing as in Season 1, but he's going to be healing as well. So he's got, like, a double functionality.
Okay.
So you'll be happy. You can definitely use him a ton. Yeah, I see him as, he is difficult to pull off, but he can be powerful in the right build, like you said. Like, again, if you do a lot of elemental damage with your owls and stuff, like he can be. But it was one thing a lot of people kind of had trouble in the game with is the term spell power actually buffs every single spell the character has, right? So it doesn't need to be elemental or something. Every single ability that the hero has can be buffed by spell power. So
okay, sure, yeah. So it makes them even more useful, right? I like to use them in the back row with owls for sure, just to really make them hit hard. If you're kind of B, C, and I'm kind of A, B with him, I think we can firmly put him in B. I think that's completely fine. With the new buffs and his ability to heal, I think that's super cool. Be interested to use the Rabbit moving forward. Next up, we have the Chameleon. Now, this guy, I mean, I want to like the Chameleon. Like, I really, really do. Transforms into a copy of an ally, but you have to, like, he's got to charge. Like, if he can't get his skill off, he's useless. Like, really, really useless. So I want to like him. I think his skill set is, I mean, it's cool, I suppose, but I just don't really see much of a use for it. I'm in the C or D range with him. Wonder what your thoughts are, Joel.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. By the way, are we doing like within a range? Like if it's the top left guy is the best guy in the D range, are we ordering like that as well? I think that's usually how tier lists are being done, right?
No, we could certainly do that. Yeah, we could certainly do that. So for this, I would put the Bunny ahead of the Badger for sure. I would put.
All right.
I'd probably put the bull, baton,
That looks
chameleon.
cool.
I don't know if you agree with that.
He is very tough to pull off, and you just kind of feel awkward. I think the one use case where it's kind of interesting, he can drop as unique with like super high health value, and then if you give him some starting energy, he can just basically instantly transform into like a super high health version of another animal. So that's like the one use case I sometimes took him for. Otherwise it's just tough to pull off.
Yeah, if you get armor with five energy on it, I think that's probably like a must-have for him for sure. But then you're sort of, this guy's taking up a slot in your team, and you're relying upon one piece of armor to just make him usable, right? I feel like much better options, and there's a very, very powerful option actually up next, and that is the boar. I can't tell you how many times this boar has frustrated me, and it's always a boar, it's always a shield, and it's always just indestructible. Can't kill it, doesn't matter how strong you are, can't kill it. I think the boar is among the best frontliners in the game. Give him a shield and put an owl behind him, or put a crossbow behind him, and just watch the sparks fly. I think boar is among the best units in the game. I don't think you can put it anywhere less than A tier. I might even flirt with S tier with the boar, personally. When I was thinking about this list, I was like, boar has got to be top 3. He's got to be. So I'm going S tier, but I want to hear your thoughts.
I mean, I'm not far off. Like, he definitely found his way, and I think he's kind of like what the showcases a bit of the problem in season 1, where because he's just pure value, right? He actually has a negative spell. Like, he's always just about his HP, and that was enough, right? If you have high HP, you give him a shield, and that was a lot of the end game meta.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be different in season 2 a little bit. You can still link him up with a shield too. That's still super powerful, and he doesn't even get to cast his own spell, right? Super great. I would probably put him above the bear, but yeah, why not? He's in a lot of the end game builds, so
yeah, maybe like low end S tier. I think it's pretty fitting for him. It'll be interesting to see how he ranks within S tier. But like you said, endgame builds, man, it just littered with 4 boars on the front line with shields. You just can't do anything about it.
It's going to be very different in season 2, but we'll see about it. It could be wrong, but we'll see what people pull off. But
we'll see what season 2 has in store for sure. Absolutely. Next up, we do have the deer. So a bipedal deer, okay? And this guy's going to trigger an attack from both adjacent allies. I think it can be really, really strong. Absolutely, especially if those adjacent allies have strong weaponry. I think you can put the deer firmly in A tier. I think it's a good backline option for sure. What are your thoughts, Joel?
I agree 100%. I saw him exactly where you put him. Yeah, he's always solid. I like him, and he always does his work. So, and he does fall off a little bit late game. Like he's just like he has a bit too low health sometimes. But yeah, even as a legendary, I like him. Like he's just good.
Fantastic. And next up, we have the Croc. So this guy, I really want to like him, right? So we compare him to like the boar, and the Croc, it does functionally the same thing where it adds max HP. However, it eats the ally that it's partnered up with, which can be that can be really rough sometimes. So I like them. I think they're strong, but I just don't see how you can put him above B tier with his skill set. Maybe even like C tier, to be honest. I think there's better physical options. I think it might be our first C tier, honestly.
Yeah. It kind of hurts me too. It's probably my favorite animal, and I've done so many builds where you have your meerkats, you eat a snake, you revive him again, you revive the snake a second time with a relic, and you just and it sounds so cool. And yeah, this is one of the things where I think season 2 also we introduced or we changed how heal efficiency worked, where heal efficiency actually affects all spells that increase hit points, which will affect the Croc as well.
Okay.
So that's why I think you will see some very high, in the thousands HP Crocs in season 2. So I think it's going to be interesting. You sacrifice a ton, right? You give up another unit, and often the Croc itself is it doesn't have any other ability anymore after that. So he's pretty weak. So you got to build around him too. But this is one I'm going to be really interesting to see. But right now for season 1, I think he's in the right place.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the changes to heal efficiency, I think that makes the Croc a lot more viable. Because not only are you giving up an entire unit, but you're giving up the victory points that are associated with that unit as well. So you better make sure that you're on top of your game and the rest of your team is strong enough. That's for sure. Next up, we do have the snake. So again, I really want, this is another I feel like I'm going to be saying this a lot, but this is another unit that I really, really want to like. I've just never found a way to have the snake work for me. It poisons units once it gets its charges. And I mean, poison is okay, but it's got low HP, and I just don't really see it. Like, I've never, I guess, been able to successfully use the snake in a build that goes anywhere past, like, round 15. So I think I have to put the snake toward the bottom.
Unfortunately,
Maybe CD, probably, I'd say right after the bull in D tier. But that's just my thoughts. What are your thoughts, Joel?
No, I fully agree. I think I would have put it exactly there. And this is, again, one thing that we really tried to change in Season 2, where because Poison, it works kind of well early on, but later the games are just too fast. You know, you just crit too hard, and the games don't last long enough for Poison to really matter. So we actually increased overall hit points in the game, which will make the games a little bit longer. We also made the game a little faster, so the games shouldn't take any longer, but there will be more time for some sort of control builds to actually kind of work a little bit better. That's the main goal here. So, and then I hope that, you know, we buffed Poison a little bit as well. So we hope that these kind of builds, especially with a stronger Croc in combination at those kind of builds, you know, you have a super strong 4,000 HP Croc, and you just gonna have Poison tick off. That's kind of the idea here.
Got it.
And we'll see if it works or not.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's an interesting choice. Excuse me. Raising the HP value, like that's super cool. It does, I think, make for not longer fights, but just an opportunity for a unit like the snake to get his skill off, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the idea.
Next up, we have the meerkat. Now, this is one that I really do love his skill set. He raises units from the dead. Based on his spell power, they're going to have a varying amount of HP. It's really interesting, and sometimes it can actually save your build. But it's all about, can he cast his spell, right? Like, there's a constant here. Can the unit get their spell off? And oftentimes he doesn't, because it costs 5. So I think based on that alone, I love the skill. I think the skill is awesome, but I can't put him any higher than B, frankly.
It only costs 3, but it only triggers obviously when an ally dies. So he kind of has to be alive when the ally dies, and so you have to protect him well in some corner. So no, I like where you put him. This is again one that will benefit from heal efficiency, so the unit you can buff the health the unit is being raised with.
Oh, cool.
So I also hope that this will be there will be some more interesting builds possible in Season 2 as well.
That is super awesome, especially with heal. And yeah, I misspoke. I thought it cost 5, it cost 3, but like Joel said, the unit has to be dead, and he's got to have 3 energy, so a lot of things have to fall in place. I think he's probably a little more useful maybe than the Badger.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the Badger
He's
does take 5.
Early on, dude. Like, also, like if you get an early one, a decent one early on, like he can be pretty strong. Like he can revive, you know, with 30, 40 health at like rank 5 or 6 or something, and then that feels very good. So
absolutely. Well, next up we have the Fox. So this guy is a healer. He's going to heal himself and his partner. If he gets high spell power on this guy and you put him in the back and you put something powerful in front of him, he will keep him healed up. Obviously, depending on what you're facing. I love the Fox, and I go A tier with the Fox.
Okay.
I think he's really good, but you do have to boost up the spell power, of course. Otherwise, it's going to be like, here's 4 hit points back, and you're taking, 40. So
this is one of the instances where overall, like all of the archetypes you can imagine in a game work to some degree, except for heal builds. Like heal builds just did not work really well in Season 1. And that's one of the reasons why we increased health points overall, so you have more time to really benefit from it, to be have more control style, and also more options to actually, take damage out of heals, or turn heals into damage. So, I'm surprised to see him in C tier, but A tier. But I would probably put him right next to the bunny, so it's not that far off either.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, and especially with like the adjustment to heal efficiency, I think he's somewhere right in here, right? Maybe he's A tier now if healing's a little more effective. So I'm comfortable moving him down to, top B tier.
Yeah.
Especially with healing build. I think we're going to see more healing builds, most likely.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Frog. So he's going to damage himself to gain attack speed. And I think one thing about this game, and this is what I didn't initially understand about this game, is how attack speed actually works. But it's actually really, really strong in Season 1. It's really, really strong. Speed kills, like literally kills in this game. You will attack multiple times before your opponent attacks if you have high enough attack speed. I think given this and the Frog, I mean, he doesn't really damage himself all that much, and he gains a lot of attack speed. You give him a super powerful weapon, I think he can do some absolutely lethal things. I am not going to be bold enough to throw him in S tier, but I think flirting between B and A is a fine spot for the Frog. I'd probably maybe go low A or high B tier with the Frog. Curious your thoughts on the matter, Joel.
You definitely see more endgame frogs than deers, for sure, I think. So I would probably put in the bear and the deer. Like, it's tougher to get a good frog. Like, you really don't want high damage, but he can have very high health, and then it doesn't matter that much. And yeah, he can, like you said, speed was very powerful. We nerfed overall speed a little bit as well. We also made it clearer. So now the speed value is actually the exact tick number between the two turns. So if it says 55, it's going to be exactly 55. Ticks. It's not seconds, but it's ticks in the game until he can act again. So it makes it a bit more easy to track what it actually does. But it's still super important. And yeah, he's good. He has very high health still, and he can just, with the right weapon, he can just destroy units.
All right, next up, we have another amphibian in the Gecko, and this guy will throw a shuriken at enemies adjacent to his target. Now, personally, I haven't really been able to make his skill set work for me, but I mean, when we think about just damage outputs, having a skill that does additional damage and kind of spreads it around a little bit, I think it's completely fine. It's usable. I don't know how great it actually is. Haven't really experimented with it too much, to be completely honest with you guys. But I would probably put him in maybe high C, low B, just as a pretty steady attacker, damage output guy. What do you think, Joel?
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I would probably put him right above the Badger. Like, he's pretty solid early on, and then he just kind of falls off. And that's one thing, like, he in Season 2, the only change we made to him is that his shuriken now does elemental damage. So he's easier to kind of, keep up in the late game. And interesting to see how that will plan out.
Absolutely. The next up, we have one of my favorites, and of course, I love non-physical damage, okay? And the Eagle is the guy that brings you the non-physical damage, in that he will deal elemental damage to the opposing lane. Really, really strong and really, really awesome. I probably have to go A tier with the Eagle, maybe high B, or up to A. And it's obviously dependent upon the weapon that he gets and the relics that you get as well. But I think you can make a really, really strong Eagle that is constantly using his spell and just scorching or torching the enemy lanes. I'm wondering your thoughts on it, though, Joel.
Yeah, I think this is the owl versus eagle discussion, right? I think this is where we're going to disagree a little bit. I see him probably just above the bear. Like, I think he's
super high A tier.
The best A tier, so that's where I would put him probably. I feel like he's just like you can really still use him at the highest ranks and just be like, I've seen builds that did like 200 damage with one of his spells, right? so 200 times 2, right? So, and then it's just like, you can really buff him up. And
absolutely. I mean, I think ultimately we both agree the Eagle is a really, really strong option and a really fun unit to use, really fun unit to go in on, to build a kit around.
All the way up to, rank 1 all the way up to the King's Fight. Like, he's always solid. Like, he doesn't drop off and he starts strong, so I like him.
So make note of that, folks. Use the Eagle in your builds, and you will have nothing but success, of course. Said from the guy that made the game. You heard it here first. Next up, we have the Goats. So this guy will increase his chances, to stun his targets on the next strike. I mean, stun is functional. It's good. I think the Goat is a decent frontline option. I don't know that it's elite. I don't know that it's bad. I'd probably put him firmly in B. Just right in there, maybe. Like,
that's good enough to make him a good unit. High health is high health. He's got HP. He stuns. It's good. It's useful. I'd probably put him like ahead of the Meerkat. Yeah, exactly. I like that. Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds about good. And then next up, we have the Hippo. So this is a unit that I've actually never used, but he leeches victory points from allies to heal himself. Now this, I'm guessing, and you can tell me a little bit more about this unit because, again, I have no experience with the Hippo,
Yeah.
but I'm guessing he has high health.
Yeah, he has high health. You're not the only one we didn't really play with him in Season 1. He was also kind of awkward to use because he would only leech up like adjacent units. And he's going to be much easier to unlock. You're going to get him pretty much right away in Season 2. And he's going to be part, you can actually upgrade him into it. So he's going to be part of one of the regions. So you can actually, boost him in Season 2 as well. And now he's going to be always steal the VP of your ally with the lowest health, which is really key, right? So it's the one you kind of expect to die next. He's just going to suck out 3-4 of his HP, of his victory points.
Yeah.
And that really enables, because you can imagine, like, you have your little snake that's going to die anyways. Yeah, just leech off the 5 victory points it has, and then tank it with the Hippo. So I think we're going to see him a lot. So.
Okay. So what would you like? Where would you rank him?
Let's put him on the bottom of A tier for now. It's tough because I haven't seen him too much in action yet either, but
sure.
I don't see him being weaker than like a goat or something. Like I think he's going to be pretty good.
Okay. You got it.
And he's going to be fun to build around. Like he's going to give some options. Like I think he's
Absolutely. Next up we have the Gorilla, and this guy is going to create victory points for himself. Oftentimes you can win a lane or you can win several lanes, but if you don't have enough victory points, you actually do lose, right? That's the way the game works. So the ability to create victory points for yourself is an interesting way to try to win. It's another option that you have to try to win. And I think that I think he's just fine. Like, he's not outstanding. He's not terrible. I'd probably put him like mid B tier. I don't know what your thoughts are, Joel, but I'm kind of right in this zone, maybe high C.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I can put him anywhere there, and I'm happy with it. Yeah. He's just very situational as well. Like he can one of the reasons why he is kind of good is because like what this game does different than most is that you see the opponent line up, and you can still make some small changes, right? You can still move some units around.
Yep.
And that really makes him sometimes, if you have the right bank, like you only need one usually, probably legendary, probably buff him a little bit. And then you just have your big boar in front with a massive shield. You hide him in a corner, and he's just going to win the game by himself. That's kind of how he works. And because you can move 2 units around before the fight, you can often pull that off in the end,
Sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't have to, well, obviously, if you wipe the floor with who you're facing, you're going to win, but oftentimes it's tight. You win 2 lanes, your opponent wins 2 lanes. If you have more victory points, you do indeed win. Or even if you tie, you still win. So that is definitely where he would be most usable, for sure. Well, next up, we have the Hyena. Okay, and this guy, he's going to give all allies of his faction more crit chance. Obviously goes with crit builds, but it's faction. It's all about the faction. Do you have the right faction Hyena? And do you have the right faction of units on your team to make use of this buff? I think it could be good, obviously with certain builds, but is it easy to rely upon? I don't think it is. I really don't. I think crit is super strong, but you need so much to fall in place to actually use the Hyena. I think he's tough to use. I'd probably go C tier with him. Curious your thoughts.
I've had runs where I would keep buffing him, and he wouldn't actually make my way into my deck until like past level, like rank 20 or something. Like he really gets strong in the end, and he can basically make a build. Like I've seen builds that use 5 of those things,
Sure.
And they just like quit everything, and yeah. So he's not. Yeah, I would probably put him there as well. Yeah.
Okay.
He's interesting enough. Like, and he pretty much remained exactly the same going into Season 2 as well. Like I think he's fair and he has his place, but he's also one thing you kind of build around with.
And I think if you get like god cards, and you can choose which faction he belongs to, I think that makes him really strong. But ultimately, as you're drawing your deck, as you're going through the process of adding new cards to your deck, you need to make sure you get the Hyena of the right faction, and if you don't, it's not really going to serve you too well.
Yeah.
Well, next up, we have one of my favorites for the front line, and that is, of course, the Lion. This guy is going to attack again with the heavy strike. I believe his skill takes 3 to proc off, and he attacks again with the heavy strike. He does good damage output, absolutely. Good with all kinds of weapons like spears, flails, things of the like. And I think it's a really good option for the front line. I've had a lot of success with Lions, but I do feel like they do kind of fade away just a little bit in the late game. When you come across some other builds that have a lot of, I guess, other approaches to battle or really, really heavy shields. So, given this, I think for an early to mid-game carry, the Lion's going to easily get you there. But as we get into the late game, 22, 23, 24, 25, you might find that your Lions get a little bit overmatched. So I'd probably go like low A tier with the Lion, and I think I'm satisfied with that placement. Curious on your thoughts, though, Joel. Lion, he's tough.
Yeah, I would probably put him in S tier. Like I've seen, like he got nerfed pretty hard too, but like just the act of hitting twice just like enables so many things. You can crit twice, and if you crit twice, you kick off the relic that does elemental damage twice. You can poison twice. You can stun twice. You have to there's just so many things that attacking twice does for you. And yeah, he was dominating the league in the early days. Later, like you said, there are some options that kind of people caught up to that were stronger later. But yeah, you can never go wrong with Lion. Legendary Lion will always get you deep in a run. So you're right with the very late game, but
I mean, like
I would have to put him in S tier. Yeah, I don't see how we could not.
I mean, I'm a huge fan. Like I've got no problem at all putting him in S tier. Excuse me, but yeah, it's just like I've sometimes flamed out when I'm too heavily on Lions in my overall build, and maybe that's part on me because I don't have a decent weapon for him, or maybe I haven't buffed him up enough. But yeah, the Lion, I don't think you can ever go wrong with the Lion. Absolutely not.
If the Lion has the right crossbow and some crit, like sometimes the fights would be over after 10% of the time because he would just melt down things then, right? So.
Absolutely. So next up we have the Lynx. So this guy will increase damage dealt by critical strikes for all allies. I mean, I think, and you can, let me know if I'm wrong here, but I think crit builds were like the way in Season 1, right? Max out crits and then just have fun mopping the floor with whomever is unlucky enough to face your team. And obviously the Lynx helps buff that up. It helps go in on those types of builds, excuse me. So I think he's functional. I'd probably put him.
He is part of that crit lineup, but he also doesn't he wasn't in every crit build, and he's a bit tougher to pull off, and he's more situational. And we actually interesting, that is one ability that left the game for Season 2, so that he has a different.
He's got
job
something
now.
new. He's got something new now.
Yeah, he actually has the gorilla ability now, and the gorilla has a totally new ability. So we kind of changed it all up because the gorilla is more of a tanky unit now, which is more fitting for a gorilla.
Okay, sure.
And the Lynx with his fancy spell he's casting there is creating some victory points for him. I didn't. It was like I said, crit builds were a bit too strong anyways, and his ability was just kind of awkward, and so we decided to hit him a little bit different.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think just in reference to Season 1, I think mid, low end B tier, completely fine for the Lynx.
Fine. Yeah.
Next up, we have the Mouse. So talk about crit builds, right? Well, the Mouse is all about crit. So when he gets his skill, he increases his chance to strike crit on the next attack. And, I mean, he charges super, super fast, and it seems like you're always getting critical hit by a Mouse with a bow in the back, just sniping you in the face. So I've got to go A tier with the Mouse because he charges his skill so fast, and you seem to get some pretty strong ones too. Wondering your thoughts on it, but
you can get like eight late game. It's probably you're pretty close to 100% crit chance with him at the auto turn. And he was definitely a problem in Season 2. He was definitely part of the crit domination. I actually think the Mouse is kind of fair in itself as a unit. It was more that was always Mouse plus crossbow, and that was just like such a deadly combo. And the crossbow was the more problematic card in the game than the mouse. I think the mouse itself is not. If there was no crossbow, the mouse would be a fair option. But with the crossbow, he just it was just too deadly. So that's where so we left the mouse, I think, almost exactly the way it is in season 2, but the crossbow got nerfed hard. So we're only talking heroes here, and obviously they all kind of play off each other. And depends on the relic, how you can pull it all together and stuff. And but I think I like him where it is right there.
Yeah, I think like he great in season 1.
Actually, maybe I would move him like above the end of Frog still. Like he was still everywhere, like a bit.
Right there?
No, I mean higher in A tier, like
got it.
Right behind you or something like or there, something like that.
Yeah,
probably.
Mouse was definitely a beast. I had a lot of fun with mice builds for sure. Next up, we have my personal favorite. So this is my favorite. So I'm probably a bit biased here, but we have the Owl. This guy will cast an elemental spell on all enemies in the front row. Now he does require 5 charges to do so, but once he gets there, he's really, really strong. And I've had so much fun with crazy Owl builds. Now,
they are fun to build, that's true, yeah.
I'm not like so biased that I think he's the best unit in the game. I don't think he is. But I do think he at least belongs in high A tier. If the Eagle's going to be here, I think he's got to be at least close to where the Eagle is.
He's close, yeah. That's where I think like I definitely prefer an Eagle build over an Owl build.
Yep.
And I think you see more late game too. But yeah, sure, he's still very strong, and and he's kind of easy and fun to build around. Like it's not like kind of hit or miss. Like you're gonna get there with the Owls almost every time if you focus on it. And
and it's super, super fun. Like just watching him like shoot fireballs that just go and just eliminate the whole front row. Like immediately, if you have certain armor that gives him what he needs to cast a spell right away, pretty incredible unit. Super fun to use as well, even if it's maybe not the most functional or easy to put together build. Would highly recommend an Owl run. Just try it out. I think you'll have a lot of fun. Next up, we have the Panda. So on ally death, it gives partner a boost. I think it's a fine frontline option. I guess it depends on what his partner is. I'd probably put him, I mean, if the Croc is right here, I'd probably put him maybe above the Croc, but probably C tier with the Panda. He's fine. He's okay. He'll take up space. I think it's probably a unit that you're looking to switch out eventually, though, with something else, right?
I don't think I've ever seen a Panda in a King's deck at the end. So yeah. I'm not a huge fan. That was like I really loved the idea of this revive build, and it just didn't work too well in season 1. Again, this is another unit that's going to benefit from heal efficiency. So he's going to be more interesting in season 2 as well. So, but I think you're perfect. Your placement is perfect right there.
Fantastic. The next up, we have another one of my favorites in the Panther. So he's going to deal bonus damage based on current health. I think it's one of the best attackers, like just raw attackers in the game. Absolutely. Give him a flail, give him a strong weapon, and he's going to do great things for you. I think if the Lion is in S tier, the Panther probably not quite as good as the Lion, but I think the Panther is on par with the Lion as far as a frontline presence goes. You can actually put him back row too and make use of his skill as well, but I don't see how you put Panther anything lower than S tier.
I actually, he's the one option I would, especially like he's weaker in almost all the game with the Lion, except until we're talking, we talked like 20 plus rank, like then he just started, like he was the best unit in the game for the King fights, like really late game, there was nothing that beats Panther damage, and he got nerfed significantly as well. Like he was just sitting so hard by the end of it. And again, with the crossbow, you would get like, plus 100 damage, and then you hit that, or you crit that with another, and then you would do like 300 damage crits or something, and just like one shot tanks, So I would actually put him probably right behind the Armadillo, and those two would be comboed up together a lot, right? That was like a standard King's deck for a while. It was like just like a wall of Armadillos with a wall of Panthers behind. And they are from the same region as well, so it was pretty easy to get both upgraded together. So
right. Yeah, I mean, either way, really strong unit. I mean, these are some of the strongest units in the game for sure. Next up, we have the Rhino. So this guy is going to absorb strikes that would defeat an ally. So if an ally is going to fall, the Rhino is going to absorb that instead. I think he kind of falls into the same tier, or at least logic, as the Panda. He's all right. He'll work for a while, but I think ultimately he's a unit that you're probably going to want to swap out with something else, with something just a little bit better. Maybe give him a shield to help him last a little bit longer, but I don't really see the Rhino. I see the Rhino as probably better than the Panda, but I can't really put him much higher than like high C, low B tier. I really can't.
Yeah. No, that's just usually better tank option. Like you could use him, you could buff him up. I've seen walls of rhinos as well, especially with the guard. The blue shield that would absorb damage from the left as well, and he was literally just like tanking damage all game. That was one of the items that was kind of problematic as well. So actually, we changed that ability completely as well. The the blue shields, the guard shield, like that's That was one that caused some trouble, and with those we've seen some of it, but yeah, C seems fine. He's next to the Panda, sure.
Really strong, regardless. And those shields, shields for sure. But yeah, the Rhino, like you said, I think there are better tank options for sure. Really curious to see what this Hippo does in Season 2. Next up, we do have the Squirrel. So this guy will create energies for allies in his row. I think it goes pretty darn good with like owls or eagles, or really any unit for that matter. Badgers, units that you need their skill for them to be the most effective in combat. I think the Squirrel does it for you, but probably leaves a little bit of staying power. Like you could use stronger options in place of him. So I think if we're gonna put the bunny right here, I think you got to put the Squirrel close to him, in that they essentially support the same general thing. Wondering your thoughts on this though, because
this is one where we disagree as well. Then I think I would put him in S tier. Like he's and again, it's like it's a little bit more difficult to get it right, but like we've seen people pull up like Kriparian, for example. He played the game quite a lot, and he once messaged me with a King's deck where his Skrill, I think, added like 15, 16, or 17 energy or something like that. So he just like instantly filled up the whole row.
Wow.
Started with starting energy, so you just had your Panthers instantly fill up with all their spells and just all shoot at the same time and just basically win the game in like 3 seconds.
Wow. Okay,
so,
yeah.
And he did that actually. Yeah, he did that by using the consumable that buffs spell power and just really overdo, because it was like a rank 4 Skrill, I think he said. And he would just buff it up from rank 4 to rank 25 all the time and end up with like the craziest Skrill in the end. So yeah.
Okay.
I've never seen anybody else do that, so it's kind of fun to see.
Well, you have made me a believer in the Squirrel. That sounds absolutely phenomenal. I didn't realize that he'd be able to get so much, right? To be able to share so much, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't really aware that you could even do that, frankly. So, I mean, if that's the case, imagine him with a bunch of owls or whatever.
Right, and owls basically doing their spell every turn. That's just crazy. Yeah. So it takes work. It's not that easy to pull off. And like I said, if I watch quick plays, like okay, there's definitely some skill in this game. Like it's not like just a bunch of random cards to put together. So yeah.
Absolutely. Next up, we have the Turtle. So he's going to share his energy and heal the pack as well. I mean, I think he's pretty good. I mean, healing maybe not so much, but sharing the energy points, I think it's just fine. I'd probably have him somewhere in B tier. Wondering your thoughts on the Turtle.
Yeah, I think I see him. Probably very end of B tier, maybe top of C tier, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't like. He's just too low health. Like we buffed him quite significantly, his health value in Season 2 as well. Because Link is kind of busted, and his spell is not that bad, but he was just too low health. So it was really, because if you put him in the back line, he's going to die very late, and then his spell is kind of useless. So it's kind of a weird trade-off there. And the Armadillo was just always a million times better than the Turtle. So yeah.
Yeah, go with the Armadillo over the Turtle all day, any day for sure.
Yeah. One interesting interaction here is if you put the bat next to the turtle, he still copies his death rattle. So you can actually have a very strong heal all ally spell if the bat copies the turtle. So
Okay.
I've seen some things that were pretty fun doing that, but it's still not like, you know, super strong.
Right. Oh, that's pretty fun, and I think you probably identify a usage for the bat, maybe that some folks aren't thinking of. I know I wasn't thinking of it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Wolf. So we have 3 remaining, and the Wolf is up next. So he's going to give adjacent allies an elemental damage buff. I mean, I think he's got to be, so if the Bear is A tier, I think the Wolf's got to be at least in the same tier. But it depends on how buffed up, your damage actually is. How many fire, ice, and thunder, relics do you have? If you have a strong set of those, this guy can be really, really strong. Wondering your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, the bear triggers the unit, right? Which is much stronger than just giving damage. But yeah, I would probably maybe top of B tier or end of tier, exactly somewhere there. He's solid. He has high HP. He finds his place, and again, he's very strong early on as well because you can drop in find him at rank 3 or 4 at like almost 100 HP, And yeah, so he's always solid,
You could certainly do worse.
Yeah.
And then this is the last unit that I'm aware of. Looks like we have a little secret here, a little reveal from Season 2 here that Joel can fill us in on, but this is the Yak. So this guy's going to buff allies with elemental damage and stun chance. Haven't used the Yak too much. I actually did. I guess the most success... The most success I've had was in a recent run, and I used him with the Owl, of course, and it was actually, it was kind of fun. The Yak fell off for me, but it was kind of fun. I think, I mean, I don't think he has much HP. I think that's one of the struggles I had with the Yak. So I'd probably go like mid B tier, low end B tier with him, but it's a fun unit to use with a spellcaster deck. Guys that are casting fireballs and the like. What are your thoughts, Joel?
So I think he was like, I didn't really think about him that much early on, and later I think he's kind of like a sleeper hit of the season. Like he was actually much stronger than I thought initially too.
Okay.
And because he does have pretty high health, and you just need a build because later on, more and more like builds with some heavy shields started coming out, and if you have a little bit of time to give him, get his work done and buff a few units, he's actually really, really strong. So I would put him, somewhere next to the Bear or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I've seen even some very strong king decks. Like if you really buff him high, like he can go super high, and then if you don't nuke them instantly, they just get so strong. So
sure,
it's one of those, it's going to be interesting season 2 because units have more health. Game's going to be a little bit longer, not tremendously, but a little bit, And units like that might shine even harder. So
sure,
I like him right there.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that I wasn't using the unit the way that it should probably be used. That was my one recent experience with the Yak, and needless to say, could have probably gone a little bit better for me. But the last up.
That's the thing about the game, though, that I think is interesting. That you say there's no right way of, you can put any hero with any weapon and in any place. Like there's no specific place. Obviously, some like a boar doesn't really make sense to give him a bow in the backline, right? But in general, a lot of units can be used in multiple ways and multiple strategies. Especially if you drop unique, they might be very low HP, but their spell is super strong. So yeah, it gives a lot of options.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things that I really enjoy about Stash, a card looter. Absolutely. And you're going to have to fill me in on this last creature here. This is a new addition, from what I understand, to Season 2. Joel, what do we got? What is its skill? And where would you place it? I'm going to let you have sole ownership over the placement of this one.
So it's going to be interesting. So the Hedgehog kind of symbolizes everything we're trying to do in Season 2 a little bit, because he's a bit like he has a 5 mana spell, 5 energy spell. That does damage based on how much he has been healed before, right?
Okay.
So he's going to have like a heal counter that's going to show the total amount of healing he has received. And then when he has 5 energy, he's going to do a percentage of that as damage to all enemies. So he's kind of like
all
an
enemies.
To all enemies. Yeah.
Wow.
It's physical damage, so it's going to be blocked. And difficult to really judge. He's definitely not weak. Like he's going to have some builds in there, and some of the early king decks have had him as their legendary as well. So yeah, he's going to be, but you're going to have to be building around the heal deck, which has been pretty difficult in season 1. We added a few more options to actually do that, and he can be both a backline and a frontline. Yeah, I definitely think we're going to see him, and he's fun. He's fun to build around. He's going to be, you want to keep him alive, and then you just see the whole board.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it sounds like a fun one to use. It sounds like a fun one to get a heal deck around for sure. I mean, I think, based on some of the things that you said, right, we didn't see healing as really too much of an effective solution in Season 1. So we come into Season 2, and you're adding more things. You're propping up the healing kits, and, maybe we see a really, really powerful Hedgehog build. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Where would you place him on the tier list here?
Let's place him above the frog. Let's place him above the frog.
Above the frog. All right, let's get him above the frog there. Bam.
Let's do that. Let's try him out. Let's give him a fair chance, and then see if he moves up or down over time. It's very difficult to judge. I think balance for me, even but we obviously try to balance things. But yeah, players always find ways to abuse things, and we'll see. That's why it's a seasonal game, right? We always make changes, and I just think season 2 is gonna. It feels so much better already than season 1 in terms of overall game. Like a lot right now, you can see a lot of different builds emerge, and it's gonna be. There might be one OP thing in the end as well, but I think if I look at this list right now, we managed to really equal out things a little bit, and there's gonna be a lot more priority in the beginning for sure.
Absolutely. So yeah, he references season 2. It did just kick off, and check it out for yourself if you like. The game is Stash, a card looter. Definitely give it a look. I mean, it's one of my favorite games. I absolutely love it. And yeah, you can, I find myself being able to invest a ton of time just playing the game and enjoying it. It gets challenging. It gets tough. You really put your mind to the test. And of course, there's this nice card drafting system that really makes each run, unique and feel unique. These are some of the things that I really appreciate about the game. We've done a lot of live streams. Well, we've done 2 very long live streams of the game. So check those out on the channel as well if you want to check it out. And yeah, the game is Stash Card Looter. Highly recommend it.
Maybe a little shout out that the game will release on macOS hopefully within the next 2 weeks, and then also on iPad, which I think it is really good for, because it's in terms of actual gameplay mechanic, you do mostly some swiping around. So I think it's going to be a fun game to play on your iPad as well, maybe in the bathroom or something. It's because you can put in a quick session, and that should release within a month or so as well. So
fantastic, man. Yeah, I think iPad's great, like a touch screen kind of drag. I think that's a really, really good idea. Is there any other news with the game that you want to announce here? I think you can certainly do so.
Well, that was my big announcement. So yeah.
Awesome.
Let's see what happens in season 2 now.
Cool, man. Cool. Well, excellent work. This is our tier list. We threw our heads together. I mean, we got the guy that made the game here, right? You should probably follow his advice over mine. These are the tiers that we have. It'll be interesting to see what happens in season 2. All right, so that was the tier list portion of today's video. I sure hope you enjoyed. And next, we're going to move into a Q&A with Joel. So, Joel, tell me a little bit about your journey that is Stash, a card looter. I hear it's a long one.
Yeah, definitely a journey. Pretty exciting one, and really fun to be here now. But yeah, it's definitely one of those projects where if you knew what you got yourself into in terms of hours and sweat and blood, you might have never started it. But very happy to have come so far right now. The journey, yeah. So in my day job, I teach digital media education to children in elementary school, and we do a lot of basic coding with Scratch and some game designs with some very kid-friendly tools, and that was basically all the programming coding background that I had, and so I always want to kind of discover what it would really mean to dig deeper, and what are we actually showing these kids here, what would it mean to do this job for real. So I kind of started playing around with some things and fell in love with the game engine, and initially it was just like a hobby project, but then the game kind of kept evolving, and I just really enjoyed how it went. I kept enjoying to play it myself. And still, it was just a smaller hobby project, and I was actually using AI art in the first builds. My whole goal was just get a game on Steam and just do it once to have it done. And we did even the Steam Next demo with it, which looking back was a pretty big mistake. Like, yeah, I mean, it was, yeah, looking back also at the images, you're just like, what the heck were you thinking? But we went through that phase, and then, but the gameplay just like, I just really liked it, and eventually I decided, okay, let's give this a real shot. We hired an artist. We had a friend of mine do some of the cloud work for the game, and it just got more serious. We ended up setting up a little company. And yeah, unfortunately, that was past the initial demo, past the post Team Expert that we made those decisions. So that kind of hurt the visibility of the game for sure. We definitely lost some traction because Steam gives a ton of visibility at those early moments, and if you miss them, you miss them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the game came out as in a much better state than the early demos were. And yeah, it's been super fun. We've been an active community, super fun to see some video going out. We have some pretty big streamers. Like we hired Quip initially to do the video, which I think he doesn't even do that many videos, right? So it's very exciting to just accept the offer, and then he just kept playing, kept messaging me as well about the game, which was really fun to see. And overall, we don't have, it obviously doesn't have the same reception as some of the bigger games in terms of numbers, but in terms of feedback we're getting, I'm super happy with it, and it's just super fun to be out there.
Awesome. Yeah, I think you've done a great job. You made a really fun game to play, like just super fun to play. And I think you should be very happy, and let's keep this thing moving forward. Absolutely. Like, you've done a great job. So,
Thanks. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it feels good. Thanks.
Absolutely. Another question I had for you, given that you are a solo game dev, what are your greatest challenges as a solo game dev? I can imagine there's probably many.
There's probably many. Yeah. I mean, part of why it's fun is because you sort of do so many different things, but that's also definitely the biggest challenge. But overall, I think that every game dev would agree that time is the biggest challenge. You can do everything if you just, put your head down. But yeah, I mean, we all trying to have life. I have a real job on the side. I have a family with 2 little kids. I play for a basketball team. It's like, yeah, it's a lot to get in, and it meant there was a lot of late nights putting in hours after practice, after the kids is asleep. And yeah, I eventually actually managed to, through obviously the decent launch of this game, and get some additional funding for a second game to be able to do this probably 50% full time starting 2026. So that's
Oh, wow.
really exciting, and maybe find some more life balance there again. And the other big struggle, I think that's also one thing that a lot of game devs struggle with, is just like the whole social media game of it. I mean, you're obviously super aware of how that works, and I'm super thankful for your effort in helping get the word out. I mean, your video on Stash was amazing and got so many people into the game.
Of course.
Thanks a lot for that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of game devs, we are very technically minded people. We like logical puzzles, and we like solving, programming problems, and that's why we do this. And that usually doesn't really slide so well with also, being some social media influence out there in the world, showing your face, and yeah. So that's been one thing where it's super important nowadays. We know you need to do your TikTok videos and stuff like that, but I just never could get myself to do it. So that comes at the cost, but it is what it is.
Well, that's where guys like me come in, right? Like, we can help.
Exactly.
We can help spread the word as well. Absolutely. And I think this game, like, people should know about this game. Absolutely. It's that much fun. Would highly recommend it. The final question I had for you today here, Joel, is what does the future look like for, Stash, a card looter? And you mentioned you're maybe working on another project. So how about your personal dev journey as well? Tell us a little bit about the future of the game and your personal dev journey.
Yeah. So I'm not working on a project really yet. Like I said, we had we could hand in a little prototype for a competition where we get some funding. But the focus is still fully on Stash at the moment. We're really trying to clean up the game as much as possible. I think one thing I'm kind of proud of in this whole process is really I think the community would respond well to that. I try to be super reactive to all feedback, to take it in and look at what we can improve. And season 2 really shows us that well, I think. So we're still at that stage. There's another bug to fix almost every day, and the game keeps getting better. And yeah, so it's going to be that for a while further. We have 2 season with content fully planned already, and we have a few winners from season 1 who get to create their own animals as their prize pool, because we had 3 winners, so they're going to be giving us ideas hopefully for the next 3 seasons. So we have definitely a lot of content already planned ahead, and so that's going to be the near-term future. We're going to have monthly season with at least one new animal added to the pool, probably one weapon and a relic or something as well, to always spice it up a little bit, keep it interesting, change up the balance a little bit. And then hopefully in maybe early 26 or something, I will also start a second project and get some, once I can do this as a part-time profession at least, invest some time there as well for sure.
Awesome. Super, super cool, man. Super, super cool. Well, I want to thank you for spending some time with me today here, Joel. I really do appreciate it. It was fun going through the tier list with you. Do you have any final thoughts for the people before I let you go today?
Yeah, again, thanks a lot for everybody for being part of the journey. We've checked out the game, gave feedback. It's been so great. Again, without this feedback, the game would be nowhere near where it is right now. Also, as an educator, I kind of want to do a little shout out to people who are interested in game dev as a hobby. Feel free to reach out. I'm very happy to share some experience, and I think it's just such a rewarding hobby, especially if you're younger. You might not have kids yet and stuff. This is such a cool way to kind of do like a startup like enterprise and get your ideas out there. Yeah, and then finally, again, just thanks to you for hosting us here, and getting the word out there and helping spread the word around Stash. And again, you guys are so important. Your time is so valuable to us indie devs. So thanks again.
Of course. Thank you, Joel. You have a good day, and we'll definitely be in touch, man. Thanks a lot.
Sounds good. Check out Stash Season 2, everybody, and see you on the battlefield.
That's right. See you later. Thanks.